They are have been built by Soane in 1813 to 17, and they have replaced Wren stables that were in the same location, but they were double of the size of the new Soane stable. This is an important elevation, I think, is for me and for many in Europe, I think, the first modern approach to the classic elements that probably Soane have seen during his grand tour in Italy. He visited Italy for 2 years, from 1778 to 1780, and he went through Rome, Naples, and Sicily. And I think this is coming from a genius idea, looking at ruins and of massive arches in Rome. Or we have 3 arches with no decoration. This is an elevation that is very simple but striking at the same time, because the repetition of arches that reminds us of a classic aqueduct, but in a very simple way. So I studied this building when I was at my first year of architecture, for being the first modern building in our European history of architecture. We are getting into the courtyard now. Through the main entrance is also quite striking, seeing this open space, this big open space, so we can see the light and the sky from the center of this space. And on the center there is a quite a large amount of the original sets. We modify the slope going to the galleries, so it will be slightly flatter, shall I say, than it was originally made by Soane, but this will support everybody with disabilities to be part of the public and coming. In the 60s, they closed all the opening except the central one, and they put sash window, 4 sash windows on this elevation. So when we arrived, we think that was important to reopen this series of arches, and we did it. And I think this gives back a lot of what was the feeling of coming here at some time. There are going to be heating, electrics, data, and all we need for this building to function as a modern building. Obviously, it's an humble building. It's done for a purpose, for serving the Royal Hospital, and so there is not much in terms of decoration, nothing. There is no skirting board, there are no cornices, but there is a feeling of a spacious place that has been repurposed after many years of being neglected. There are many elements that are coming from Wren. We certainly can say that all the foundation on the side of this side of the building are all Wren. There are massive foundation with red bricks that are the bricks that have been used, Tudor bricks that have been used by Wren in 1690 or around that time. They've been used in all the rest of the Royal Hospital. Instead, the yellow bricks are the one that Soane put in his construction. So the one around the courtyard are all from Soane time. I think I tried to demolish as less as possible, and I used environmentally friendly materials, like the floor. The floor is a limecrete floor, so it's breathable. There is no concrete in here. It's made of lime. and sand. And the breathability is really important for old buildings because there is not a damp-proof membrane at the base. So the humidity and the damps just raise from the ground into the buildings. This is one of the beautiful structure of the roofs that we can appreciate, and we look at for the first time when, as part of the enabling work, we remove all the asbestos ceiling. So this is going to also to be the immersive room. So it has this dark color. There was an existing opening going to the old infirmary. Yes. Soane has built also another building into where was the Wren stable, because the Wren stable was double than the Soane one. Instead there was a new building, the infirmary for the for the pensioner that fell ill. But it was bombarded into the Blitz in the Second World War and was demolished. Going back to the Second World War, the building has been bombed and the two chimneys collapsed. So we had the drawing from Soane and exact drawing with all the dimensions. We just replicate them in a way to give justice to Soane. And they are so beautiful and so characteristic of his architecture, and I think they are a lovely addition to the place.
Look, so my name's Wayne Gray. I'm the site, the resident site manager. So I'm here every day, sort of 7 till 4. Overseeing all activities basically. Yeah.
And how long has the build gone on for?
We started in sort of April with the demolition, opening up and everything.
Great.
Yeah, and we're due to complete, as you know, May 24. Yeah.
And how many guys do you think have worked here over time?
To date, I've inducted 140 operatives, to date. So, quite an array of trades and guys, yeah.
And what are the kind of biggest challenges for this build? And what sort of steps along the way have been kind of some of the biggest bits? Any surprises, anything like that?
Nothing major, to be honest with you, that we've not sort of come across before. I mean, working with the arches, obviously there's an abundance of them. It's proved a challenge, for the manufacturing of the windows, glazing, the stuff that we're doing today, really. But no, nothing too out of the ordinary, not for the the type of work that we do.
Do you do a lot of heritage?
Yeah, that's it. 35 years.
Wow.
So yeah.
Do an archaeology part of it.
Yes.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, that was interesting actually. So everything with the demolition at the beginning, obviously once we'd broke the concrete floor slabs out, we then obviously got the archaeologists in as we do what we call a reduced dig. So as we're taking the levels down, they're here under a watching brief, so they're there with us. And then obviously as we unearth things, they start to record and any finds, stoppers obviously before we do any damage. And they did find a lot of the footprint of the old Christopher Wren stable block that obviously stood here prior to this Soane one. But yeah.